Glancing down at herself, she was glad she was decent, since she hadn't changed out of the slacks and blouse she'd worn to her dentist appointment that day. With slightly trembling hands, she opened the door. The porch light illuminated his features, and she went still, taking in just how handsome he was. Jaye Colfax Jr., known to his friends as Jay, stood there looking simply gorgeous, from his head to his toes and every part in between. "Jay, what are you doing here?"
"May I come in, Val, so we can talk?"
he asked with an unreadable expression. Hearing him say her nickname, which nobody in Catalina Cove used, gave her pause. Ruthie called her that all the time, but hearing Jay say it brought a lot of memories rushing through her mind and her body.
"Val?"
He'd said it again. She could easily say no, he couldn't come in, and they had nothing to talk about. She had put distance between them for a reason. She had given up talking to him then. Why should they talk now? She could tell him just what she thought of him, but knew that wouldn't be a smart move. He was the new banker in town, and agitation between them could call for awkward moments she'd rather not deal with. If nothing else, they needed to talk about the best way to handle things, since nobody in Catalina Cove, except for Sierra Crane, knew about her and Jay's past. Upon moving to the Cove, she and Sierra, who owned the local soup cafe, had struck up a close friendship. "Yes, please come in," she said, stepping back. When Jay crossed the threshold, her gaze roamed over him. He was 6'2", but he appeared taller than she remembered. He was dressed in a tailor-made suit, one that fit his toned body to perfection. Regaining control of her senses, she closed the door behind him and repeated her question. "What are you doing here, Jay?"
"I think we need to talk."
Yes, he'd said that, and they had, back when it mattered, and it had gotten them nowhere. "I was about to have another glass of wine. Would you like one?"
"Yes, thanks."
There was no need to make sure what she was drinking was what he'd want, because she and Jay always liked the same wine. In fact, they liked most of the same of everything: food, places to visit, music, movies, political party. They'd been perfect together. Perfect for each other. Too bad he hadn't seen or accepted that. "Please have a seat. I'll be right back." She hurried to the kitchen, holding her breath. It was only when she leaned against the counter that she exhaled. When she'd rented this house, she'd never imagined that Jay would ever walk through the door, sit on her sofa, or share a glass of wine with her. She'd figured when she'd left Phoenix she'd made a clean break. Obviously not. But then, she couldn't place the blame solely at Jay's feet. He had been upfront with her from the beginning. He wasn't the marrying kind, he'd said. All there would be between them was companionship and sex, and more sex. He'd also made it clear when she'd pushed for exclusivity that although they wouldn't date others, it was still just an affair. She would be a bedmate and never a wife. He didn't love her and could never love her. She thought that she could be content with their arrangement, had convinced herself she could settle. It took her 3 years to accept that she couldn't change his mind about loving her, and she knew she deserved more. She'd also known she would never get that more from Jay. His mother had broken his father's heart, and Jay had vowed from an early age never to let someone hurt him that way. Calming her shaking hands, she reached into the cabinet to retrieve another wine glass and filled it halfway. That's usually all he ever wanted. They used to joke about whether the glass was half full or half empty all the time. After topping off hers, she left the kitchen carrying both glasses to find him standing in the middle of her living room, glancing around. He looked up when she entered.
"This is a nice place, Val."
"Thanks." As she handed him the wine glass, their hands touched, and she felt a zing of energy and knew he had as well. Okay, so they just proved that sexual chemistry was still alive and well between them. Big deal. They both sat. As she watched him sip his wine, she thought what she always thought. He looked sexy doing it. The way his